This isn't going to be like, look at me, I'm so wealthy, here's my Lamborghini, here's my car keys. No, it's going to be a journey that you guys are going to go on with me to becoming the best version of myself that I can be, and hopefully encouraging everybody that's watching to get out there and become the best version of yourselves. Hello guys, thanks for checking out my channel. I'm not one to organize, orchestrate, trying to dictate the words that are going to come out of my mouth, because quite frankly I don't believe in that. The people that sit there and formulate a plan for their videos, I admire that. However, I think that it's more beautiful when it comes off impromptu and completely from the heart. I'm a 21-year-old entrepreneur. Started my own business back in 2022, so it's been about a year and a couple months. No, 2 years and a couple months. I started doing general contracting and really delving into the idea of being self-employed. Why might I have done that? Because I do not want to be poor the rest of my life. I recognize that I am doing pretty good for myself right now. I've always had a roof over my head, food in my stomach, and, you know, encouraging parents, a healthy family situation. I have struggled with certain habits, addictions in the past, and I'm really working on overcoming those things and becoming the best version of myself that I can. That leads me into my first topic on how I'm going to be wealthy. Habits. It's the number one contribution to becoming successful. Setting up a daily routine to capture your life, take it back in your own hands, and control the things that are in your immediate control. I have an issue in my brain with worrying about future things, worrying about problems at work, worrying about all of these things that are out of my control, instead of just taking the time to prioritize daily routine, organization, and constructive habits. I have never been a cleanly person. This is me and my girlfriend's apartment. She is very organizationally oriented. She's a great person to be living with when it comes to somebody like myself. I'm disorganized. I wouldn't give a fuck about what my place looks like if I hadn't moved in with her about 2 years ago and started learning the habits of becoming a man and how I can keep my spaces organized and what that did to my mental health and help me positively in the work that I've been doing, the daily things that I struggle with, and ultimately put me in this position here today. Our place is very organized right now. It's very clean. It hasn't always been this way. There's been times where I've slacked off, left stuff all over the place. She works, I work, we get home, we don't clean stuff up. Ultimately are miserable at the end of the day. And, you know, don't take any actions to clean up our life. Right now I've done a couple things to improve my lifestyle. I installed a dishwasher the other day, big sink. That's going to save me an exuberant amount of time every week, mostly my girlfriend, an exuberant amount of time every week, and it's going to help us with our lifestyle and the things that we are trying to do. My goal is to be a multi-millionaire by the time I'm 30. How am I going to get there? Well, it's not going to be fucking easy. Our society is set up in a way that leads to addictions and addictive behavior, miserable mentalities, focused on depression, anxiety. From a young age, we are encouraged at the school level to always look to somebody else for approval. You know, my first job I ever went to, I was doing koi ponds, and I was building koi ponds with a guy, and I was belittled the entire time that I was doing it. You know, I didn't feel happy. There was times where I was very happy with what I was doing, but most of the time I'd show up stoned as fuck before the job. I wasn't happy with my life. I was anxious. I was drinking every Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Me and my buddy Donnie, who he just turned 21 last night, but we would get drunk every freaking Friday, just out of our mind. And it was crazy how God or the universe came down and just kind of extracted me from the path that I was going on. I was going down a really negative path, and I sat there one night and I manifested and prayed for somebody to come into my life to help me change around my habits, change around the ways that I'm going to go about things. And it was incredible. Within 3 months, I met my girlfriend. We hit it off really well. We hung out for 6-7 months before we ended up moving into this space together. And it really changed around the direction of my life. I can't tell you how bad my laziness was, my anxiety was, my depression was. I hate using those words because, you know, everybody feels those ways at some point in their life. But I was down in the dumps. I wasn't doing things that were positive for myself. And that really broke me out of that cycle and gave me something to build and look forward to. So while down the road, I found out that my old boss was paying my buddy, who was a part-time worker, he was paying him cash, and I knew that. But what ended up happening was my buddy was taking home, and I was on this crew for 3 years, mind you, foreman, running the jobs. My buddy was taking home almost 50 cents more an hour take home than I was as the foreman leading the crew. And I was on the books. All my income was taxed, and I was really, really stuck because all I had done, I hustled landscaping on the side. I always was like landscaping, doing anything that I could to make my own money and potentially set myself up for success in the future. And I was always hustling. But it really was just a hit to my heart. When I found out about that, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I've put my all into this job. Mind you, I did put my all into it. You know, I was a high school student, balancing high school and real life, working. You know, summers were great. I'd make money and whatnot. But, you know, I didn't have the most successful habits. I'd show up late. I'd show up stoned. But I was putting my all in at the time. In my mind, I was like, you know, I show up and I do all this stuff. There's no room to expand or grow. And now I found out that the person that I brought onto the crew to help out with building these koi ponds was getting paid more than me. And it really took a turn. So I bitched out my old boss, said, fuck you, you know, I'm done. And immediately after I finished that, I went out with the $600 that I had, and I bought a drill. Well, I bought like a drill, impact drill, and, you know, a circ saw. I had a chop saw at my house, scrounged together some screwdrivers, some different stuff, and just started hustling. And I started hustling. I didn't have a DBA or insurance. I just started doing work on people's houses, advertising it out on a couple applications that I had at the time. And it was a big step from having consistent income to just being like hustling. I was still living at my parents' house. Mind you, I was living in the garage space at the time because I had bought a dog. My parents didn't want the dog to be in the house. So I just lived in this garage space. It wasn't converted or anything. It was just kind of like, you know, back of a garage, bunch of couches, paintings. I've always loved paintings, by the way. Speaking of which, my girlfriend is an amazing artist. She's got art all over this place. I want to display her most recent piece, which is really freaking awesome. She puts it all on sweatshirts. She's been hustling and grinding, and she can maybe talk about that at a different date. But anyways, I was at rock bottom after I quit that job. I was drinking all the time, sitting around in my apartment. Well, apartment. It was the back of my parents' garage, and just going down a bad path. And that's when I prayed. My girlfriend came into my life, which I'm so grateful for. We've been going strong for almost 3 years now. And I was down below, if you know what I'm saying. Long story short, I ended up getting my job, my DBA. I got my insurance. I started hustling, and it's a give and a take. It has not been easy for me to do, but now I can proudly say it's been over 2 years of fully being self-employed, not working or responding to somebody else as my boss, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I pay for my freedom by taking that jump right when I graduated high school and getting out into the world and starting something on my own. It sucked at first, but I pay for my freedom. All those months that are slow or aren't going super well for me, because I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it's all rainbows and sunshine, because it's not. But I pay for my freedom. I choose my hours. I choose the jobs that I do. I choose the bullshit that I take from other people. And ultimately, I'm building and taking steps towards my future. My habits are not conducive to the goals that I have set. I vape. I smoke weed. I drink alcohol. I smoke cigarettes. I don't wake up every morning at a consistent time. For a while, I was training a lot. I was doing MMA, working out every day. I haven't been working out every day. And working out in itself helps contribute to dopamine, self-confidence, etc. This is something that I typed up for myself, and I want to share it with everybody. Because I'm not perfect, and neither are you, and neither is anybody else. But these are habits that I'm going to put into place to help me personally grow and my journey to success. I will quit using substances that make me depressed, unmotivated, paranoid, anxious, self-deprecating, lazy, unfocused, sick, that destroy my body and will give me cancer, belligerent and incompetent, act a fool in public, destroy my confidence, destroy my morals, prevent me from communicating effectively with those that I engage with, make me indecisive, and suck my fucking energy. I'm not saying that down the road I won't go out and have a drink, smoke a cigarette. I probably will. But as a day-to-day habit, the vape's gotta go. I don't drink every day, but the drinking's gotta go. When I drink, I love drinking. It goes down quickly. If you know me, you know that. If you don't know me, trust me, it's true. I haven't been smoking as much pot recently. Makes me kind of anxious, and I don't think it's necessarily the most demonic of all three, but it's definitely up there with motivation. And I'm not saying I'm the most avid user, but there's a lot of people that use a lot of pot and don't give a fuck about what they're doing. There's medical purposes for it, there's time and a place, but it's not an everyday thing. I'm going to commit to working out on a daily basis because I know that when I work out, I'm less anxious, I'm more motivated to do the things that I do. I feel better about myself when I'm going into a situation where I'm negotiating a business deal, presenting an estimate, presenting a proposal, holding myself accountable on the day-to-day basis. And that's part of it too. How my girlfriend perceives me is important. How my family perceives me is important. How my friends, how my colleagues, how the people that I do jobs for perceive me is important. My look is important. My mental health is even more important. When I make money, I spend money. When I spend money, I lose out on potential opportunities. I've always had the ability to create the money and make the money, but I haven't always had the ability to budget it. There's something to be said about having all of your transactions laid out, all of my budgeting laid out, my $350 for this, my $200 for my dog food, my rent payment, my insurances. You let your insurance relapse, or not relapse, you let your insurance payments lapse, you're fucked. The underwriters or whoever it is who's gonna cancel your insurance policy, and then they're gonna jack your premium up, and it's happened to me twice now. Why? Because I'm a shitty budgeter. And I'm just being real with everybody. Like, I know this isn't like, oh, this kid's successful and I should listen to him. I'm just sharing my personal story and how I'm gonna get there. Because I think that's more relatable than just coming on and being like, this is how you do it. This is how I'm going to do it. And I'm sharing it with you guys so that everybody can maybe take something from this video. I want to start having a more important morning routine. Waking up at the same time every day, drinking a cup of coffee, looking over my planner. Never been good with planners. In high school I had a planner, I never used it. What happened? I turned in homework assignments late. I forgot about tests. I didn't apply myself as well as I could have. Same thing goes for my business. There's been a couple times where I've missed meetings because I haven't had my planner organized. It's a lot to remember. You think your brain's capable of all this stuff. I love compiling all this information inside of my head and then trying to achieve it without having to write it down. It's a great challenge, but it's not realistic or sustainable. When I have 10 estimates to do in a week and I'm trying to remember what time, what place, what the address is, it's just not sustainable for me. So I'm going to start looking over my planner in the morning, waking up earlier, drinking a cup of coffee. Morning routine. Laundry. I have so many fucking clothes. It's ridiculous. I wish I could take you in there and show you my laundry right now, my laundry situation, but I'm not going to because I'm kind of ashamed of it. I have a pile of fucking laundry that I haven't done in over a month, and I still have laundry that's clean in my drawers. Why does one man need so much laundry? First thing I'm going to do when I get off this video with everybody, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to get rid of everything that I don't need. It's not realistic for me to try to go do 5 loads of laundry at a laundromat. Not to mention, I don't have a laundry machine here. Dryer, washer, none of it. I don't have it. So I'm going to take all my clothes and I'm going to get rid of them, donate them, and I'm going to rebuild my wardrobe into a functional wardrobe. Less distractions, less chaos in the morning. I know what I'm wearing. And that's it. I'm going to organize my work van. I have a work van with tools in it. The front turns into my personal trash bin. Why? Because I'm a chaos. I'm chaos. I'm organized chaos. I know what I need to do. I don't do it. That's why I came up with something like this. If you're like me, this is going to help you. I'm going to organize my van once a week, and that's going to set me up for success. I'm going to be happy with the way my van looks. I'm going to be able to find all the tools that I need for a job. My life will function easier. And I created a list of affirmations because I think affirmations are very powerful things that you can do to affirm what you want, how you're going to do it, and who you are as a person. And I'm going to keep those to myself because those are personal. But I think the overall outline of this is very important, and I'm going to put a link in the bio for anybody that wants to organize their habits to become successful.